Hello, I'm back. It's been a couple of weeks. I've been collecting parts for this engine build. There's a new block, and I'm starting off with the pistons. So I didn't do this on video because there's a million how-tos. I've gapped the piston rings and they were all within the tolerance, which is lucky. I've gone for Hastings rings because they came in a kit with the ACL bearings. So I've got some, these are Mark 1 GT rods, which are sort of nearly twice as thick as a Glanzer rod, and these are Mark 1 GT pistons. Everything's nice and clean. I've cleaned all the piston ring grooves out with an old piston ring I snapped and scraped all the crud out. So I can't actually get on with building that at the moment because I'm waiting for some telescopic bore gauges. There's a lot of measuring to do. So this is the first engine I've ever built. I want to do it properly. I want to learn how to measure everything properly. So what I'm going to do is just pop the piston rings on the pistons today, and then hopefully the kit turns up tomorrow, and then that means I can crack on building this bottom end up. So yeah, let's pop the piston rings on there. So I'm just going to show you how I've been doing it. So oil scraper ring, little tabs go up. These are very delicate, but they're very easy to put on. We've got the two oil scraper rings. Now these are two, they feel a bit delicate in here, so I'm just gonna do them by hand. And what they do is they get stuck in each groove, so I kind of walk them down the piston, next groove, okay, and then they slot, see, underneath the oil scraper doodah. That's it. And then the top oil scraper ring, same job. Just be very gentle. I'll just kind of walk an end down, walk the other end down. Sorry, it's probably very hard to see on camera. So, and then this is the top one. So that sandwiches that zigzaggy one. I'm not worrying about the orientation yet, I can do that afterwards. Then we've got the second ring. This is actually sided, and there's a very small dot there, or it might have top written on it. This is robust enough to use my piston ring pliers. That's it. Obviously always make sure they're free, you know, they're not binding up at all. And last but not least, the top ring. This can go either way. Same thing. This is man enough to put in here. Should just ping in. There we go. Piston rings all on. It's the next day. No, 2 days later, and some of the tools have turned up, so I was waiting for these bore gauge T-bar-y majigs. They're not the best things in the world, but they do work, and my Plastigauge to turn up. So I've got a cheeky hour at the garage today. It's actually tomorrow I was meant to be doing this, but I've luckily got an hour in. So, measuring first before I put anything together. And I'm going to show you. So I'm going to start with the mains. So there's 5 of them. And this is my theory. So I'm going to bolt the main down, torque to spec, and then I want to measure the bore of the main, jaw it down, and then I'm going to measure the thickness of the bearings, top and bottom, and then that should then give me this inside diameter. And I've already written down the crank diameter, so imagine that in there. I need to know the oil clearances for it. So then if I add and subtract it all together, it should give me my oil clearance, and then when I actually build it, I will double check that with the Plastigauge. So I printed some stuff out and laminated it so my greasy mitts could get on it. So firstly I'm going to measure the main journal diameters, and that's what they should be. So I'm going to do that with the little T-bar clamp. So I'll torque one down, use that, and then I'll use my digital micrometer to measure that. I'm going to do each one about 3 times just to make sure I'm doing it right. And then I will chat to you once I've done that. I've just done the first one. I'm not going to show you all because it's boring, but I've got a reading of 51.045, 51.043, 51.027. These things aren't the most accurate in the world. There's a knack to using them, and also this isn't like, I bought it second hand. I have zero idea whether it's fully calibrated properly, but what I'm looking for really is like any crazy changes, even if they're all a bit off. As long as they're all off the same and one's really different, then I know just something's up with that. But yeah, so now I need to do that for all 5 mains, and then I'll move on to the bearing thicknesses, which is over there. Okay, so I actually finished yesterday, so it's the next day. I'm just going to show you how to use one of these. I am no expert. This is just how I have figured out how to do it. So you've got to leave it loose. They're springy, so they can fit in a bore. So what you've got to do, this will be very hard on. I leave it at an angle, so it's nearly coming out. You tighten it up enough. Hold on. No, this ain't gonna work. One sec. Okay. So, springy. You tighten the end, and they're not springy. So you put it in the bore. Leave it at an angle because they've got like convexed tops, I suppose is the right word, and you tighten it up just enough so it can compress and stay, and then you rock it through the bore until it goes loose and you pull it out. Nip up the end, double check, and it should just squeeze past the bore. So that's now set. And then what you've got to do is I zeroed my micrometer, and then you just use the little clutched clicker mechanism at the end, and I'll give it a little tweak. And that there is 51.033. 1.033. So basically that, I'm going to do that 3 or 4 times on each, and that'll give me the diameter of the main caps. Okay, so I've got all my measurements written down. I have done them 3-4 times each. I visited 3 again because it was smaller than the rest, but that's right because I checked it a few more times. So then I kind of picked an average of it. Please bear in mind that I haven't zeroed these tools. I don't have a means of zeroing them. I do not know if they're, you send them off to get zeroed. I don't have any standards to zero them to. So I've just zeroed them the best I can. So what I'm looking for is just crazy anomalies. So as long as it's in the ballpark figure and below the maximum allowed tolerance, I'm going to roll with it. So what I've now done is I've measured my shells. Actually, there's nothing to really show about measuring shells, apart from you need a 0 to 25. And then all you do is, I've put all my shells in an order, 1 to 5, and then I just measured the corner of them. Just measured the corner of them in the micrometer. And I'm very fortunate that my micrometer, I don't know if you can see it, has got a ball end, which means that can go on the curved side. and it doesn't affect the reading. And if you have a micrometer with two flat edges like my other one, then you've just got to kind of pinch it on the corner and measure it. So I've done the same thing. I measured them 3 or 4 times. The reading that I kind of got the most, I've written down. So starting on my maths from over there, let's start with number 1. It was 51.043 millimeters. And then I need to minus the upper and lower thicknesses of the bearing, and that gives me 47.107. So I've done that for all of them. So because number 3 was slightly less in diameter, I've then swapped a thinner set of bearings into that one, which has brought it up to 47.099, and then I've used a thicker set of bearings in number 1 to bring that up to 47.014, and I've got them pretty much like as close as I can to each other. So I need number 4 bearings in number 1. I need number 1 bearings in number 3, and I need number 3 bearings in number 4. And that's now my order for the bearings to match them up. So they're now ready for this block, but I've got to clean it first. I don't want to be cleaning those boards with a fresh cranking, so I'm going to give it a wipe over with loads of brake cleaner, loads of rags, clean the boards right out, airline out all my holes, and then I'm going to get building. Actually, this is how easy it is to jump ahead and get excited. I've completely missed a whole step. So here is the sizes of my main journals. So now what I've got to do before I even attempt to build that, this is how easy it is, by the way, to just get excited and miss a step. So now I need to subtract that. I need to subtract that number, this number, my hole. I need to subtract the hole I've got by the thing that's going in the hole to give me the gap around it, and then divide it by 2 to get the tolerance. So let's do one here. I've got 46.99, 46.96, 46.96. So I'm going to go with 46.96. 46.96 minus 47.104. Obviously that's backwards, but you get the idea. Let's sort this out. So 47.104 minus 46.97 equals 0.134 divide 2, 0.67. So 0.67 is my tolerance. On my sheet here, no. Oh, dropping everything. Okay, oil showing. Main journal oil tolerance standard up to 0.49, limit 0.08. Now in an ideal world everything's brand new and standard, but it's not. Everything's slightly worn. So 0.67 is below 0.8, so that is good. So now let me do that for the rest, and then I can crack on doing that. Oh my god, I just had a heart attack. I read this again, 0.08 millimeter. I wrote everything down, circled the tolerance. 0.67, 0.5. I forgot to put the 0 after the decimal point. I was just scribbling it down quick. Again, that's how easy it is to make a mistake with all of these calculations and measurements. Ideally, you want to do this on Excel, like Epic TMC, who is an absolutely fantastic guy and is a wealth of knowledge, and is pretty much who I copied to build this engine. I don't have Excel on any of my computers because I never use it, but I nearly had a heart attack. So if I had a 0 in front of all of them, they're all within tolerance. So now I can get to cleaning that. Again, this is it. You can't rush. You've just got to take your time, measure everything a few times, and just triple check everything. Everything. The importance of cleaning. My hands are too fat to go down, so I just got my rubber mallet. I've cleaned, even though I've just done these 3 or 4 times, there's still dirt that comes out of them. You've got to just keep cleaning. Keep cleaning, keep cleaning. Look. Doesn't look like much. That's it. Keep. Okay. Good. Right. Let's turn this back over. Oh. Right. One last. Okay. Cool. Okay. Right, let me just show you this last one. So, firstly, give it a clean. Okay, then put your bearing in. There's a tab. I want to put them in dry. I don't believe you should put assembly lube in that side because I think they need to stick, and obviously that will create a barrier, and then that would cause issues. I wasn't happy with how that one clicked in. Hold on. Oh, is that my thumb? I'm just gonna double check everything. Right, okay. That's better. It felt better. Okay, so apply a liberal amount of lube. Oh, just got lube on my microphone. You don't need mega amounts, just one good streak. And then pop it on, make sure it's the right way round. These need a little tap down. That's it. And then again, I'm just going to pop, just give the bolts, these are genuine Toyota ones, they're good. I'm not going ARP. I don't have any lube for these, so I'm just going to put one tiny dollop on. I don't want to put too much on because I don't want it to bottom out. I don't want it to like hydrolock. They should go in by hand. If not, then something is wrong. The only time I used a bit of lube was to hold the thrust bearings in, which is fine. So these are all down finger tight. Don't know whether you're meant to spin it now or not, but that is spinning silky smooth. I'm just going to give it one rotation to make sure lube's all the way round. And then now I've just got to torque it. Probably one thing, the caps are number 1 to 5, and you should be able to read them. Number 3 has luckily got an arrow on, so you know you need to read it from that way. So you've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, let's torque that down and see if it spins. Right, so torque time. I've seen a few different ones. So this sheet I downloaded and printed off and laminated was a sticky off of UK Starlet, but that says cylinder block to crankshaft bearing cap, 42 foot-pound, which I thought, yeah, it doesn't sound too much. And then I found a Dave Burwash one that was 29 and 58, and I found one that was something and 90 degrees. So I'm just going to go for the Dave Burwash one, which was a good lad back in the day. So 29. So I set 29 on here. They're 14s. And you basically want to work your way outwards. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 sort of thing. So I'm just going to go very gently. I'm just going to nip them all up to start. Give that a check. Spinning nice and freely. So, doing this one-handed. So this is the first stage. Obviously, you've got to do the mandatory double click, otherwise you're not using the torque wrench properly. Okay, so that was 29 foot-pound. Still spinning lovely and free. So let's now adjust this to 58. Before I actually finish this engine, I am going to double check this again, because I can always re-torque it. Where are we? Well, that's 56, 57, 58, and a smidge for luck. Please, the internet, if you're watching, all 600 subscribers, go easy on me. This is the first engine I've ever built. Ever. Even though I've been tinkering with cars for a very long time, I have never done an engine like this. I've put a built block and a head together on an old Pinto, but I've never gone and bought all the separate parts, measured them up. Okay, so let's do the old click test. Make sure I've got them all. Yeah, so like I said, I'm going to do some triple checking and research whether I need to go and do something plus 90. But well, that's talk to Dave Burwash spec. Right, sorry, my battery actually ran out on my GoPro. I'm going to triple check that 58 foot-pound is what I need, or whether it's like 40 something and 90 degrees. But that's spinning super free. Feels really nice. So what I'm going to do now is double check it with Plastigauge. I'm not going to run you through that because there's 1,000 videos in there. I'm pretty happy with how that is. I'm going to try and check end float. But yeah, there you go. 140 FTE bottom end. So let's let's summarise what you've got to do. If you're going to build an engine, don't be scared. You just need some tools. You can't do it without certain tools. So you've got to be able to measure very precisely. So you need some of these. But you don't have to go and spend... I bought these second hand. You don't have to buy Michioto ones, the really expensive ones. You can just go buy the Chinese ones. And what you're looking for is crazy anomalies. You're not looking for actual specifics. Like, you know, if one's crazy different to the rest, then you just know something's up. So check it. And then, yeah, you just need T-bars. So what you got to do is torque these down, measure across, note it down, measure the thickness of your bearings, note them down, subtract the bearings from the hole, and that gives you this size here. The crank's got to fit in there, and you just need to work out the gap round the outside by taking it all away from each other and dividing two. Fairly simple. And then just be really methodical. Clean everything, write everything down, check everything 3 times, because you can easily make mistakes. As you've seen, they were not put on, they were genuine. I was getting excited and I completely forgot, or I wrote things down wrong. That's just how it is. So yeah, my very first crank in an engine. Feels really good. Just going to double check it with Plastigauge, but I'm not going to do that for you, because if you want to know how Plastigauge works, go search a video for it. There's 1,000 of them. I'm really happy with that. Really quite happy with that. So I'll see you next time. Okay, I couldn't leave it there. I Plastigauged it. So we all know how it works. Little strip of plastic. Torque it down like usual. No oil. Use a little card. So they are 0.5. Just a smidge under the 0.5, bigger than the 0.63. A hair under 0.5. A hair over the 0.63. And yeah, again, over the 0.63, but just under the 0.5. Again, so I've just done it again, under the 0.05. So again, the maximum was 0.08. So none of them were on this one, which was 0.76. So that is good. So all I've got to do now, clean off this, re-lube, re-torque it down to what it was, and the bottom end is finally done. So see you next time. Peace.